Whoa, nope, wrong button. Hello, everyone. We are live. I think it looks like audio is working. We tonight are going to be working in Pastels and colored pencil for this super cute mushroom. Oh, my camera is not working. Oh, you know it's going to be a good night when it starts out frozen, like immediately. Let's just go ahead and fix this. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Oh, look, fingers are showing. Also, totally off topic. Can you see, look how cute my nail, come on, focus camera. Can you see the little ghosts on there? Maybe not, maybe that's not so super clear. I don't know if you can see the little ghost on my nails. I got these things, this is not an affiliate thing or anything, but I know you guys are artsy. Some of you may love these. There are nail wraps. I normally paint my nails every 2 to 3 days. I have to replace it because I'm just hard on my nails and they chip off. My last set of these nail wraps lasted a week and I probably could have pushed it longer, but I wanted to change them out for little ghosts. And they're so cute. What is it? Lily and Fox? Fox and Lily? I think it's Lily and Fox. You can get these nail wraps. They're like stickers and then you just put a top coat over it. Like so cute. And they lasted so, like, I just did the little ghost last night and they're cute and I thought you guys should know. Anyway, on with the actual art. So tonight I'm working on Inktense and MeWe. I've got black paper. It's already taped down. I've got my drawing. I use transfer paper to transfer that image onto the artwork. And if you want, whoops, wrong camera, you can get the line art if that makes it easier for you. As you see here, I've got that available for you along with this reference photo over at patreon.com/Lachri. The direct link is in the video description if I did my job right. You don't have to be a member to get these, but you can download those if that makes it easier for you. So let's go ahead and come back on over here. We've already got a super chat from Kirsten. Do you boys want, yep, they're watching me. You want a super chat? Come on. Oh, their camera's frozen. Okay, let's fix that too. Man, all the cameras, this is not, I'm not loving that this is already having everything freeze tonight. There we go. That is working. Hey, this one's working. So I had to order, I didn't realize I was completely out of treats, so I had to order some from Amazon. I did next day, and they're still not here. They're supposed to be here now. They moved it back. They were supposed to be here by 5. Now it's 9 to 10. So then you get sweet potatoes. Okay, take it to your bed. Wade, go lay down. You can see Gibson always takes his sweet potatoes to his bed, chomps it into a million pieces, spits it out, and eats them all individually. I guess it makes him feel like he has extra treats. I don't know. Thank you so much, Kirsten. The boys thank you too. Wade, go lay down. Lay down. Down. Okay. So I may have to adjust the lighting. It's actually kind of dark in here. We'll see how that goes. Okay, as always, if you are in the US, you can bid on this. The starting bid is $70 if you want the original artwork. And what are we starting with? We're going to start with the background. So I've got my pan pastels over here. I've got my set of 20. And I've left my colorless blender over here. Let's grab that. You don't need to use a colorless blender, but it does make everything blend super smooth without needing quite as much of the pastels. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by adding some green into my background. Now this is a very olive green. If you look at my pan pastels, oh look, that one didn't freeze yet. But if you look at my pan pastels, I don't really have olive green. The closest I have is the chromium oxide green. It's kind of olivey. So what I want to do is neutralize that. I don't want it to be quite so vivid. I want it to be more of a dull green so it has a more natural look for what I'm going for here. The way that you're going to do this, in most cases, if you have a green that's too green, a red that's too red, blue that's too blue, add a little bit of its complementary color. So in this case, my green is too green. I'm going to add a bit of red to it, and that's going to help me get this more olive green color. So I've got my soft tools, little stick there. It works very much like a palette knife. Now you can, for smaller things, use little brushes like these. They look like eyeshadow. And also, seriously, ladies, if you are doing your eyeshadow with these still, you're doing a bad job. Watch a YouTube video. It'll teach you how to do your makeup better. But these little guys that look like makeup, like the little eyeshadow applicators, which should never be used for applying your eyeshadow, But anyway, those guys, they're very flat, and so it's hard to work with. If you've been trying pan pastels and you've been using those, you're having a hard time, that's probably why. We want this. You can see how this is at an angle. This makes it very easy for me to work without rubbing my fingers, you know, my fancy little ghosts. I don't want to rub my fingernails all over the artwork. This keeps my hand back, and it makes it much easier to control than those little flat eyeshadow user things that you should not be doing eyeshadow with. And if somebody's like, what? I've always done my eyeshadow with that. Let me open you up to a world of, God, I can use so many words here. Education, betterment, anything you want, improvement. Go watch some YouTube makeup videos. Yeah, those are not going to give you the results you want. Anyway, moving on. So let's go ahead with the background there. Now this actually does have a lot of grayish tones in it too. I can mix in my browns and gray in addition to my green, but I'm going to pull a little bit of my red and I just mix it right on the pads, or the pastel things. I don't need to worry about these mixing and getting muddy. If you can see, I'll show the red now. See the red, how it's got green on it? Well, it's out of focus, but there's green. It doesn't matter. Wipe it off if you need to. I don't worry about trying to keep mine super clean. Let's mix those. And watch as I go through this. This isn't going to be super red. I actually get these more brownish green tones. There's a lot of this grayish tone in there as well, which this is working out really nicely. Now I'm going to pull this a little bit into my mushrooms. Be careful not to do like this. See how right now this has a stop right here and then it's black and then there's the stem. Go over the stem. I don't want it to look like the background doesn't quite go behind the subject. Yes, use brushes. That's who just said that? DJ, for makeup, yes, for better makeup, use brushes. I actually have paint brushes that I use. I have makeup ones too, but I have some that are for painting that I use for makeup too. Works better than those sponges the makeup companies try selling us. I just want to get this nice streaky look. And I'll be coming through with black in a lot of this. Now I'm pushing not too hard here, but I am working this over and over and over on a lot of this. I don't have a ton of the pan pastel on here. I don't need a ton of product on there. If you put too much of your pan pastel, it makes it so the colored pencil doesn't really stick well. So see how I'm just kind of spreading it out? It actually looks pretty good where it is. Let's go ahead and switch over to black. I already have one of these that's pretty dirty, so we're going to go with that. And we're going to pull this in there. Now, if you bid on this, whoever wins this, this will come matted, and I'm going to show you how to matte your work at the end of the stream. I'll be matting this project, but the matte itself, oh, let me grab the sample matte. The matte actually covers a lot of this, but I always make my artwork go out farther than this is going, than what the matte is, because I don't want a little gap where the art didn't quite go all the way to the edges. Actually, don't think I may not need the colorless blender for this one. This is giving me a streaky look that I really like. The colorless blender would soften it maybe a bit more than what I want. Let's pull a bit more of the greens. And even put a bit of red iron oxide in that green as well. It gives me a nice brown tone there. I'm going to pull some green too. I want to get some variation in here. Oop, that's really green. We're going to blend that in. I'm going to switch over to the black brush, and I'm going to let the black mix in with that green so that it's not so high look at me. We want the ladybug to be the high look at me of this piece, so Want to make sure I don't have anything in the background standing out that much. We just kind of want that fading out in the background, just out of focus a bit. That works. Okay, now we need to get the background for this area. This is actually going to stay pretty dark. I'm going to start, I've got this, if you look at the reference photo or the line art, there's two sections. I've got this area here. This back here needs to stay very out of focus. We're going to be much more in focus as we get up into this area. So we're going to start with that back area using the same colors, really. We're just going to create some wiggles back there. And let's get some of the gray. So I'll notice that I'm not jumping to white for anything highlighted back here. I want it to stay pretty dark. And actually, that camera is way darker than what this looks like. Let me go ahead and adjust that really quick. Nope, automatic is too light, of course. Why can't it be that light? That's close. That's a little bit lighter than I think it looks like in person, but it's a little bit closer. You can at least see what I'm doing better now. Okay. And then I've got, whoops, let's switch to the black. I'm just letting this smudge a little bit in with those greens. And where I want the highlights, I'm not jumping straight to white. That's what I was rambling about a second ago. I've got some of this gray for my highlights. That will probably be bright enough. If I jump straight to white, it's going to be too much. The mossy area does not need to be super detailed. Also, this was sort of based on a request. Somebody had asked for moss, so this was my moss project. I'm forcing a lot of this into sort of forcing. There's no force. It's not that dramatic. But I'm creating, there's a better word, these little almost circles. That is an easy way to get that out of focus bokeh look and have it look a little bit shiny. Don't overblend. I want to see some areas that are definitely green, definitely black, definitely lighter gray. Just softening it a little bit there. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of white for some of the shine over here. Not much. Wade, stop. Good cow. Look at you pretending like you actually normally listen to me. That's a lie, sir. Okay. He was looking at his chest, so that's all that was. No one cares. Move on. Let's see. Down in this area, I need more of the green, so I'm going to wipe that gray off because I don't want it to be that light. Some red iron oxide, back to my green. Oops, that's too much red iron oxide. Let's just pick up a little bit more of that green. Still too much. There we go. Just creating kind of just a mess of different colors there. I'll be pulling a lot of the details over this with the colored pencils. And we're creating depth in this. We've got 3 stages. The background is super, super out of focus. Mid area here is still out of focus, but not as much. This up here is even less out of focus, or more in focus, however you want to look at that. Okay, we need a lot more black in this section because we need the details with the colored pencil to stand out over this. And if the black is not dark enough, then the colored pencil area won't stand out enough. So this will look too dark. just so that when I come on top with the pencils over this foreground area, they'll really stand out. Okay, let's pull a little bit more. We've got a little highlight back here. So just a little circle. Do a few more of those back here. There's a weird little out of focus branch that sticks out that I'm not going to include because it just looks kind of weird. Okay, I think we can move on to the mushroom. So we're going to leave that alone for now. So let's make sure I'm completely covering my line there. Okay. Keep using really the same brush for now. I've got brown. I'm going to use some red iron oxide, a little bit of black, a little bit more of that brown. This is what I'm going to do for the stem. Oops, it needed a little lighter, so let's pull some more gray and brown in that. There we go. I'm not worried about crazy shading or anything like that. We're going to do that with the pencils. This one even has more gray in it, or green, I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to leave that. Now I'm going to wipe this up. Now I think, so my mushrooms in the original photo, they were really red, but it made it so you couldn't really see the ladybug. So I toned them down, but I'm going to tone them down even more and leave them more of a tan mushroom. So we've got my gray and the brown. We'll mix some of those together. I'll probably pull a little bit of a teal into these as well, because as usual, I will end up outlining a lot of this with teal. And that's not because it's realistic, it's just a look that I personally really like. I'm going to do a little red iron oxide and the brown. Just a little shading there, a little bit on this one. Let's grab a bit of gray for highlights. A little gray and white. Let's brighten this a bit more. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing here does. We're going to be doing details and changing a lot when we go on top with the colored pencil. This is just our base. Now we need our ladybug. I'm going to be using orange first. This is really opaque, so it stands out very nicely against the black paper. It's not as bright as it would be if I were working against white paper, but it still stands out pretty well. Now I'm going to put the red right over that, but I'm going to leave some of this orange showing through. Okay. And that is really all we need for the pan pastels. So now I'm going to put these to the side and we're going to spray this with Spectrafix. Where's the lid to this? So Spectrafix is the spray that I use with pan pastels. There are different fixatives. The problem with a lot of them is that they darken pastels, charcoal, any of that. They make everything a lot darker, and that is really frustrating when you get everything perfect. You put a fixative over it and it's not what it looked like. You have to go back over it with all your highlights. Oh, I have spent that many years having to do that. Like years ago when I used to do portraits in pan pastels or pastels before the regular pastels freaked me out. And oh my gosh, it's crazy how much darker it can make it. This stuff, the Spectrafix, really doesn't do that. And this one, I put it in a fine mist sprayer, and that keeps it from having heavy droplets. If you use the spray bottle that the Spectrafix comes in, it has like big droplets, which can happen with a fine mist sprayer too, just not as big as what typically will happen with the bottle that it comes in. If you get a big droplet, it's not the end of the world. You have to blend over it, but it's not like, it takes 2 seconds. It's no big deal. Okay. So let me go ahead and lightly mist this. And by lightly, I mean I'm going way heavier than I recommend you do, but for the sake of the live stream, we're just going to plaster that on there, and then I'm going to use a hairdryer to dry it. check that really quickly. One SGWW said, I won the palette poppy from a few weeks ago. That was the oil pastel palette poppy, I think, from a few weeks ago. I was wondering when I get to wait by the mailbox for it. Wait, the palette knife? That should have gotten there a very long time ago. Was that the acrylic painting, or was it, that should not be, hold on. I want to check this really quick. How am I going to easily find this? Shoot, I can't log in that way easily. Hold on. Which one? Because impressionistic. New order, probably that one. Impressionistic. That was going to El Paso. I'm not going to say the address, obviously. Verify for me that that was where that went, because if that didn't get to you, that is missing. And we have to figure that out. I mean, it took me a while to send it because it was so thick, but that went out a long time ago. That was more than a few weeks ago. I mean, it took me like a month to send it, but that should be there. We need to figure that out. So definitely email me, lisa@lachri.com. We need to get that solved. The poppy, if it was the oil pastel, okay, El Paso, that's yours. That should have gotten there so long ago. Hold on. That concerns me because it's obviously missing. Like, post office lost it. So I've got to figure out what, I mean, it's insured, but let me see. Is this you? Aren't you in that one? Nope, you're not in that group. Hold on just a second. I want to see when that was shipped. I can actually look up the tracking number right now. It should have emailed you with the tracking number. Usually, I don't think I did this last time, but I normally do. When did that go out? Wasn't that one? I know, I'm sorry guys. I will give up on figuring this out, but I do want to see really quick. Yeah, I'm not even finding it. I probably deleted the thing, so I'll have to look into that. It's should have gotten there a very long time ago. So we will have to, I don't know, and that's what I wanted to look and see where, I don't know if I can log into my post office. So make sure, you guys, when you send artwork to somebody, make sure you insure it. And post office half the time will argue and be like, we delivered it, even when they didn't. They do that to me all the time. They'll say, we dropped it off in your box, and they didn't. I know, because I was checking. Let's see, and I work from home, so I'm here all the time. I want to see, I should be able to go this way then. Click and ship labels. Why am I not seeing? We're going to get back, I'm sorry, we'll get back to this. That's going to drive me crazy. I just want to see when that went and what they said happened to it. Click and ship, click and ship, click and ship. Okay, it would be one of these. I think that one's going to be way older. Why? It's like trying, instead of showing me what it sent, it's trying to show me. No, I'm not going to be able to do this right now. Crap. that is going to bug me the entire rest of this live stream, because we will get it sorted, whether that means we figure out what the post office did or check. I should have, I'm pretty sure on yours I sent you I think you should have gotten an email confirmation of the tracking number. So I just don't have it to where I can easily, I have so many emails in there I can't easily grab that. So we will definitely sort that out. Yeah, yay, fighting with the post office. That'll be fun. Okay, so let's go on now, as I'm not going to be able to focus, because that drives me crazy to think of something missing. Although good news, we'll have two options. One is I can just refund you if we can't find it. It may turn up. We'll see what we've got. The second would be to redo it. Ugh. I hate redoing things twice, but you know, we want to make sure, one way or another, we're going to make sure you're happy. Okay, let's move on. So focus, Lisa. So we're going to start with, the background is done. We're going to start with the moss back here. That's okay. So we've got the moss up in this section. Do I want to start with that? No, I think I'm going to start with the Ladybug. You can start anywhere. It doesn't really matter. The reason that I've decided to start where I'm kind of jumping around, this should not be that detailed. And I'm afraid if I start with this area, I'm going to overdo it, because it's like, when you're working on something that is out of focus, it is very easy to look at it. Like I do it every time. I hate it. It's like, it's just not detailed enough. Get the detail in there, and then the out of focus parts make sense. But right now, everything looks blurry. It looks like the camera's blurry, and it's not. And so it makes it hard to like what you see there. Okay, let's go ahead and start. So I've got my piece of glassine so I can rest my hand. I may have to scooch that over, we'll see. And I've got some colored pencils out. I have this light blue. This one is, God, why do you have to write it so little, Karen Dosh? I don't even know what this is. Blue, cobalt. I don't know what that last word is. I can't read it. It's a light blue. It doesn't matter. We're going to grab an orange. I've got my polychromos orange, because these I can sharpen to a much finer point than the other pencils and push hard, and it stays really white. I've got black. Probably should have grabbed a opaque white. We'll see if I need that or not. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen these pencils. And you can use any pencils you've got. The reason that I'm going with polychromos for the fine details is it will sharpen to a finer point, and it'll hold that point because it's a harder lead. The softer leaded pencils, you can't go quite as sharp. Like this one is a Caran d'Ache Luminance. I can't go quite as sharp, but it is also more opaque. So like everything has its pros and cons there. I'm gonna highlight right along the back. That technically should be white. See if that white shows up. Yeah, that white is showing up really well on this paper. We've got a line right along the back that separates the wings. I have not had the post office in all. I guess I shouldn't complain. They've not lost anything yet. Not since I started doing the auctions. I'm not saying they've not lost anything. They've lost plenty of things, but not of artwork yet. Actually, bigger pieces, you know, things that cost thousands of dollars, hell, things, I said a bad word, heck, things that cost several hundreds of dollars. I don't, I send those US or UPS, not USPS. I don't trust anything bigger. We've got a little back leg there. So ladybugs, fun story about them. I have crepe myrtles in my backyard, and I have never seen an infestation of, I don't know if they were aphids, I don't know what they were. They were so infested with bugs. And I hate spraying or treating anything for bugs, because I've got like I feed birds out there. We've got the frogs that are in the yard, or toads, whatever. I'm using red here. I have so many critters, and I like the bugs. I like we have tons of jumping spiders. We've got wolf spiders. Like, there are a lot of good bugs, bees, lots of good things in the yard. I do not like spraying chemicals. You can do a ground soak which I'm going to have to do for the type of mealy bugs that my crepe myrtles get. But anyway, I had these aphids. I have never seen an infestation quite like that. And I was like, I guess I'll go out and at least spray Dawn dishwashing soap all over everything. But I don't even like doing that because I don't want to bother the spiders. So yeah, I'm one of those. So anyway, I didn't treat it, didn't get to it. And suddenly all the crepe myrtles, I've got 5 out there, were covered in ladybugs. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I didn't have to buy them. They just all showed up. They had babies. I had all different stages of life form of ladybug out there. I have never seen so many ladybugs in my life. They covered it and they cleared those trees out from those bugs. It was amazing. Okay, I want to zoom in a little bit so we can see what I'm doing. Now, I don't want this ladybug to be solid red. I want to get orange in there as highlights to give it more depth. Actually, let's go with a lighter orange. I may have to grab a Caran d'Ache. Actually, nope, this one looks good. So this one is this is cadmium orange. And you see I've got the shine mark with white, but oh, the camera is frozen. Hold on. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Because tonight's going just perfect. There we go. I just stuck my finger in that. Okay. So yeah, ladybugs are kind of magical, and they fixed my bug problem. I mean, I wish they'd fix the mealy, or what is it, soot mealies, or I don't remember, black soot mold I've got because of there's a specific one that crepe myrtles get that I've got. I've got the ground soak, I just haven't used it yet. I won't use a spray that actually gets on the spiders and stuff because I like the spiders. Okay, we've got a highlight that comes right through here. And this is a very light, it's kind of like a cool white. It's really a light blue with the Caran d'Ache, but it shows up really nicely. Let's go ahead and get these spots. Yeah, I had never seen ladybug, the in-between stage. They're really odd looking. They're like segmented black and orange. I would not have known that was, I had to Google it. I was like, what are these other bugs? There were baby ladybugs. Push a bit harder and really define that highlight. There we go. And there is our ladybug. Now notice, I mean, we have the white over the back. I'm going to actually put a little bit more white. We have the white highlight over the back, but that's more of a shine mark. Be careful when you're blending or working with red. Don't just think, like normally if, let's say we've got a blue starfish or a blue flower and we want to highlight, we use white. If you do that with red, you end up with pink and it changes. So even like a red flower, a red rose, unless it's supposed to have pink in it, you don't want to highlight a red rose with white because you've now got a pink rose. So, and it's just weird because it doesn't just lighten it. I mean, that is the pastel of red, but that's just not how red looks in nature. So let's say you've got a deep red rose. Like a crimson, just red. Highlight with oranges instead. And I will do, if you are a member over on Patreon, you've got access to the cardinal lesson that went up last week. Go check that out, because even though it's acrylic painting, it would still apply to other mediums. I put down orange first and then layered my red up onto that to build these deep reds, but still keeping highlights on red without having pink highlights. So red is a very interesting thing there. And let's see. So that is our ladybug. Let's go ahead and pull these browns. I've got several brown kind of golden tones, some weird green tones. I just grabbed a bunch of stuff. I wasn't sure what color I was going with on these mushrooms, but I knew that I did not want them to be the same red. I want the ladybug to really stand out. So let's start pulling brown. Oh, that actually looks nice. This is burnt umber. Yeah, I definitely like this brownish tone better. And I need a highlight. This is, oh God, it's Caran d'Ache Luminance. Like I'm gonna be able to read that. It's cream. I don't know what it says. It's kind of a tannish cream color. My eyes are getting so bad. It was hard when I was younger to read these. And now as I've gotten older, I can't read what these pencils say at all. So here, luckily the color is pretty accurate on the back of the pencil. I'm gonna do some lines coming through here. Are ladybugs poison to bearded dragons? I know fireflies are. I think ladybugs were bad too. I don't take my bearded dragon outside because there are way too many bad bugs that he could eat. Like I read so many stories of people posting, help, my bearded dragon was outside and he ate a bug and now he's dying and then he died. I am not going to have that happen. I'm going to use that light blue I used on the ladybug to do the highlight here. I know a lot of people like to take their dragons outside. I don't. I let them walk around in my studio where it's much safer. This actually looks really nice for the highlight there. And it's not white, it's that really light blue, like a grayish blue. I'm going to push a bit harder here where I really want that to show up. Let's get, I'm keeping the bottom edge of that mushroom a little bit more jagged. And let's see, let's start pulling some more of the darks in there. So come back to the brown. I'm going to put that right under the ladybug, a little bit of a shadow there. And then we've got darker coming right through here. I'm going to pull some really dark areas with the black. Got some spots on that, the mushroom. Now I'm not copying the reference photo exactly. I'm just adding what I think would look nice. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know what would look nice, that actually comes, the more you paint, the more you draw, you will get more confident in doing things that don't necessarily make sense. I've painted and drawn so many mushrooms, so many different types of mushrooms, that I'm kind of pulling from the information I learned on doing those realistically and combining those to make this more fantasy kind of stylized look. Like I'm loosely going off the reference photo I have, but not exactly. You know, it's funny, I did get a call from my P.O. box telling me that they had a bunch of stuff there for me. I didn't even consider, I wonder if they've returned any boxes with art in it. They've never have before, but now I'm wondering because that's the address I use on those. And unfortunately, it turns out my post office is closed the only times that Matt is off work. So there's no way for me to go get them. Okay, I'm liking those. I'm probably going to come through with a little bit of an aqua color to make this stand out more, but I'm going to leave that right now. Actually, I'm going to pull that around a little bit. And now let's go ahead. I'm going to put these to the side and start working on the moss. So I've just got a bunch of different kind of muted greens, olive green type color, sage green. This one's earth green. And we're going to start, let's see which ones stand out. Different colors. I actually might need to switch. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to grab some more of the Caran or Derwent Light Fast because they're going to be more opaque. So give me 1 second. These are actually all pretty dark. Let me... There aren't really that many of the Caran d'Ache luminants in greens. Okay, we'll mostly have to work with what we've got by adding some white to make them show up better. This is like a green gold. That's probably what it's called, but, oh wait, ochre, green ochre. Okay, whatever. That actually shows up really well. So we've got some little mossy guys that have some patterns to it. We're going to start putting those in there. As we get down here, these little leaves, I'm using the cream color or ivory, I think, with, yeah, ivory. The Faber-Castell Polychromos. We just want to get the hint, the kind of squiggles. We're just getting the hint of details. We're not going to sit here and add every detail of moss. Did it freeze? No, it didn't freeze. This one actually shows up well. This one is green yellowish with the Polychromos. It looks like it would be too bright, but up against the Pastels as it mixes in, it's really not. This is a nice color for this. Outline some of the previous details. Oh, I'm liking this one. This one will get used a lot. I'm actually going to pull a little bit of that up into the stem of the mushrooms. We're just going to start creating the look, kind of squiggles, kind of blotches. Some are circles, just different textures in there for moss. I mean, these aren't like leaves where you have this really defined pattern. Got a little stem guy that sticks up there. I'm going to pull this. This is Venetian red. I'm going to pull a little bit of that up into my mushroom too, just to give them a little bit more saturation. Not too much because I don't want to draw away from the ladybug, but this will keep them from being too brown. Yeah, that looks much better. I get a few more circles with this color. I want to make sure I use that in a couple of different places. A little leaf at the end of that one. I have a bunch of these. The mosses are really interesting. I have a moss slurry that I added into one of my vivariums. There are so many different types and different textures. So you can get just tons of different shapes in here to get that natural look. If I go too light, it's not a big deal. I can go back over anything I need to with black. Think circles, so I'm building up a lot of circles for the stuff that's supposed to be out of focus in the background. Now, okay, this one, I'm starting with this earth green, which is not super bright. I'm going to take this green, which is not what it's called, green yellowish, go around the edge, and I'm going to do some white in the center. I'm pushing super hard. I don't want that white to be that bold. But it makes it look like you've got moss in the background that is very out of focus. Again, more circles, just build that up. I don't want to overdo it with the white because I really still want my focus here, but we do want to get more details down in this area. Some of these little mosses have hairs on them, so this color is working perfectly blended in with that black. It gives it a nice olive green look. And we just sit and fuss over these little details. The funny thing is, this is probably going to take longer than the main focus of this piece did, but it will definitely be worth it. This one is green, yellow, olive green, yellowish. It's a bit darker. Building up more little dots and clumps and clusters. And that's the big thing too. It's not random polka dots. If you just put random polka dots everywhere, it looks like random polka dots everywhere. These are clumps and clusters that I'm building. I'm really excited to start this week's, well, I've already started it, but the project for members, our next lesson is it's very much more detailed than this, but it's a colored pencil and pan pastel again, but a red panda, and he's so cute. He's up in a tree. He's got mushrooms around him and a little moth, and it's definitely going to be a big project like that one. It's taking this and just spending a lot more time on it. You know, the same techniques. We also have really quick, we've got Patty said, for the puppies, any tips on getting them so calm? My hyper dog has ACL surgery next week and we're dreading the recovery. So yeah, let's give them, you guys want a super chat real quick? So they're greyhounds. This is just the nature of the dog. Certain dogs, they're not just calm. You've got to be a hard mom and you have to keep them on a leash the whole time. And while she recovers, this was a problem. My in-laws were so bad about this. There you go. Thank you for the super chat too. But my in-laws were really bad about when their dog had a luxating patella and they would not keep her calm. She kept jumping on, she was a tiny dog, she kept jumping on and off the couch, and the doorbell would ring and she'd lose her crap and dive for the door, and she's barking and she kept freaking messing up her knee. Like she couldn't heal. The best thing they could have done is either put her in a crate or put her on a leash. And I worked with them so much, they wouldn't do it. They just, oh, it's mean. Her being in pain right now because you won't do it is what's mean. She's a dog. She doesn't understand what she's doing isn't allowing her to heal. You've got to be the hard one. So you've got a hyper dog. There's the vet can give her stuff that can calm her down. So I would definitely talk to the vet about that. But also, you've just got to be tough and either keep her in a crate or on a leash. That's it. You have to be firm on that. Go lay down, because not every dog is going to be a greyhound who's the laziest animal in the history of racing dogs. Well, I mean, all greyhounds are pretty lazy like this. Good boys. Thanks again for the super chat for them. But yeah, you have to keep them, for me, I would keep them leashed. And when I leave the room, they go in the crate. And if I'm not watching them, and even the leash, if you're walking around and she's trying to follow you, then the crate, or tie her to the crate or something like that. But yeah, it's not like it's a genetic thing with that level of lazy. But good luck on your pup surgery and have fun keeping them calm. It's your job as a mom. Be mean. You have to be careful too, because sometimes the painkillers they give dogs, they think that they're no longer in pain, and so they can be more active. So you have to work even harder to keep them inactive. So sometimes having a vet give them something that'll kind of calm them down a little bit can help, but it's not going to make up for the fact that you still have to force it. So you can just kind of clumps and clusters of little squiggles, not polka dots, not just anything everywhere. Even kind of come through and darken up some of this. And I'm pushing a little bit harder with that black pencil. I don't know how well that shows. Oh, it kind of shows on camera. But by pushing harder like this, it does, it's still black. It's just darker black. We're like clean black. Right now, the black that's on there is mixed with a little bit of green, and so it's not that dark. So same thing. I'm just doing these little kind of squiggles, clumps and clusters of that with the black. And by squiggles, I want to be clear on, let me show you an example of what not to do. Squiggle does not mean, this is not what I mean by squiggle. We're not just doing this over and over again. And I know a lot of people will be tempted to do that. Actually, if you layer that enough, kind of could work on moss. But my squiggles are little, let's do that a little bigger so you can see. They're a lot more random, like, but clumped and clustered. Not just that. Let's grab a brighter white. I'm going to start pulling some of these highlights out a little bit more, just in a few spots. So this is a more opaque white than I've been using. I'm going to pull a little bit of this Venetian red into my moss too, because you'll get little bits of other tones in there. I've got to decide. I was going to do that aqua through this, but I don't know if it needs it. I kind of like just this natural soft look. I may leave it like this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I should leave it just the soft natural tones, or should I get some of the outlines with that aqua or kind of a teal color like you've seen me do before? I'm going to go through and separate the really blurry part a little bit more with the black. Push some of that back. I want to define a little bit more the part in the foreground. I'm going to go over a lot of this white that I'm doing right now with green, but I'm doing it white first so that the green will show up a bit better than what it's been doing. Yeah, you want to see the aqua? We can do the aqua. Yeah, the aqua will look pretty too. That's where I'm hard. I always have a hard time with that because, oops, mess up my stuff, knocking my pencils down. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I like how it is, but I also know I like it the other way. One of the things that I'll often do when I'm working on a bigger project where I've already put so much time that I don't want to like realize after I start doing the aqua that I don't like it, take a photo of it and use a photo editing app. I use the Samsung tablet or phone that has the pen, but like if you've got any kind of, tablet, Apple, whatever, iPad, use a pen and outline it on an app. Take a photo of it and see what it would look like if you put color on it in a place if you're not sure if you want to do that or not. And I'm going to just go over that white that I did with a bit of green. So see, now this green stands out much more than it did because it was going against the black before and it just wasn't standing out as much as I wanted it to. Now it's doing it. And I'm going to darken it a little bit more. Notice I'm holding the pencil to the side here. This won't be super smooth, but that's fine because it's moss. It doesn't need to be. But I can just soften and push back a little bit more. Again, remember you want these clumps and clusters, not polka dots. Okay, someone says no, leave it natural. Well, I would leave it, don't want attention to the moss, no, leave it. I've got a lot of leave it. Has there been any bids on it yet? There haven't been any bids, so if I want to change it, I can. Let's just do a little bit of blue around the highlights on the butterfly. We'll just do a little bit. I'll do somewhere in between. So it's not even, see, you can't even really tell. It's not that much. We'll just do a little bit. It just won't go as heavy as usual. Kind of going around these highlights, very, very subtle. Actually looks so, that does look very pretty, just a subtle amount. So this is not as much as I intended. This is a happy medium between the two, but I'm really liking this addition. Just a little bit of blue in with that. Okay. And I think that is it. I'm going to put a little bit more around that highlight there. I'm going to go over that with ivory to tone it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, there is the finished piece. And I need to sign it. So in order to sign that, I need to hold the mat over it. And figure out where exactly that is positioned, right there. And I'm going to sign it, I'll use the blue, I'll sign it right down here. And the reason that I've got to hold the mat up in order to do that is look at how far down that goes. I would easily, if I sign down here, it just gets cut off by the mat. So next I'm going to show you how to mat the work. We'll do that really quick, and then we'll go through. Please bring in lots of art questions because we've got a lot of time left. And we'll do the squawk box. I'll go bring French Fry in so he can see what he got. I haven't even opened it this month. It just came yesterday. It came earlier this month, so I don't know what it is. Let me clean this up really quick. Move some of the stuff out of the way so that we can do the matting. Okay, so these mats, I get them on Amazon. The seller is Golden State Art, which I have been using them for, well, before Amazon was really popular. I started using them forever ago. I used to just buy from their website. Now I just buy on Amazon, and the shipping is way faster than it was when it was through their website. But they are wonderful. I've been very, very happy with the quality of theirs. And what it is, I get the 3-pack. So, or the pack that has the mat, the back, the board, and the bag. So it just looks so professional when whoever gets it, what that work looks like. Let's see. Oops. Oh, we've got a bid. This mushroom is getting a home. And hopefully UPS doesn't lose it again. Don't worry, I insure everything. So if that ever happens, this is the first time we've had questions on where the artwork is. We're going to get that taken care of. That is, can you tell that is driving me crazy not to go look into this right this minute? Okay, one of the things I'm going to do here, Canson MeTense rips really easily. So I am going to take a hairdryer and heat this so that the tape comes off easier. Now notice I'm pulling away from, well, you can't tell because this, I'm pulling away from the artwork. That is extremely important. Never pull in towards the art, always pull away. That way if it starts to tear, it pulls away from the art instead of tearing the art itself. And go slow. This is not a Band-Aid we want to rip off quickly. Should all be hot enough now. Probably am done with the hairdryer. Now, when you sell your artwork, I strongly recommend doing the matting process. The mats cost, depending on the size, let's say you spend $5, $6 on the whole mat kit. You can charge a little bit more for the art to cover the cost of that. And if you're buying it in bulk, it's not going to cost you that much. It's only going to cost you that much if you're going and buying them individually at like Michael's or whatever, because they do sell the individual ones. But if you buy a big pack of these, you know you do a lot of 5x7s, which I do, 8x10s, 11x14s. You can buy a bigger pack, and so each little kit costs a lot less, but it makes it look so much nicer. So right now, here's the finished artwork. And if somebody gets this, I'm not saying they wouldn't be happy with it, but it's a sheet of paper. Like, it just doesn't feel as exciting or as fancy. Canvas doesn't really run into this problem that the sheet of paper does. So let's brighten that a little bit. Let's switch over. Whoops, wrong one. Let's come over here. So what I'm going to do, let's move these out of the way. We've got to start by adding the mat. So let's line that up. And then I'm going to flip that over. That looks pretty straight. I don't care if it's centered this way. That doesn't matter to me because that's all going to get covered. Hold on, I need a razor blade for this. I've been overly gentle with my nails, trying not to use them to pick at tape and stuff because of these nail wraps, because I want to see how long I can get them to last. Come on, let go. That is not the way. There we go. I'm just going to pull a big stretch of this. Now you want to make sure that the tape you're using, this is masking tape, but it's pH neutral masking tape. You do not want to use regular masking tape because it will cause the artwork over the years to start to get brittle and yellow. Same thing like Scotch tape or anything like that. We want to use something that is pH neutral. Very important. That is a big piece of tape, bigger than it needed to be. Now, I am pretty tape happy. I've seen artists that just put a single piece of tape on one end. I don't recommend that because it doesn't lay flat. We want this to lay nice and flat. So I go a little bit tape happy. Now here's why we use the backing, why I recommend paying a little extra and getting the backing. If somebody gets this, that looks kind of tacky. I mean, the front looks nice. It looks overexposed, but it looks, I mean, when they flip it over, yeah, when it's matte or put in a frame, you're not going to see this. But when somebody opens a box and they get their new art, they look at that and like, oh, wow, nice. But we can solve that problem by putting on that backing. And it just makes it look so much more professional, so much nicer. And this is double-sided, again, acid-free. I get this at the scrapbooking section of art supply stores. You need something that's photo safe. Again, super tape happy because these boards they don't always stick that well. Okay, now we've got to remove the tape, which I know is super exciting part of the video. Yeah, I don't know why, even as an artist, and I know that it doesn't matter, it's just when I go to art shows and stuff, and you look at the back when people have them matted, and it's like, okay, you half did it, finish the job. I just feel like it's unfinished without the backing, and I know it costs more, but it looks so much more professional. And then this is an 8x10, so the artwork is a 5x7. The outer edge is an 8x10. And the nice thing about this being a standard size is it fits in a standard size frame. So somebody could probably go spend $3 on a frame, and this will look wonderful. Okay, now I'm just going to line that up. Now look, all that tape I just did, this looks so much cleaner. Let me show you real quick. Here we go. So, oops, that's upside down. So now the lighting, oh, this light isn't on. That explains why it's so dark over here. But there we go. So look at how nice that looks, and even the back, how clean. You don't see any tape. You don't see any edges of paper. It just looks finished. It doesn't cost that much, and I get it. We're all trying to save money right now because groceries are ridiculous, but it doesn't look like, it looks so much nicer for not costing you as the artist that much more to upgrade the thing. And especially if it's something you know that's sold. I know it's a little bit harder. Let's say you're doing an art show and you don't know if it's going to sell, so do you want to invest the money in it? I get it. But especially stuff that you sell, commissions, by putting it in just a standard black, they can change the frame if they want. If that's not what they want, that tape all comes off that we just did. It's not like it's permanent. But this is, and black is pretty safe. I normally go with a black matte. Occasionally a white matte will look really, really good, but black is just safe and normally looks good with most things. There are, of course, exceptions, but that is what I go with there. And then there's the bag. So we're just gonna stick that in there. One more element that makes it look that much nicer and keeps it from getting all smudged and messed up. And now, there you go. Look how, like, it just looks complete. So when you are selling your artwork, I cannot recommend doing this enough, especially commissions. Like, and you don't have to buy a big bulk if you don't want to. You can get just the matte from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I don't know, Hobby Lobby sells mostly home decor stuff. I don't know what they've got anymore, but I'm not a fan of what they have changed that store into. But anyway, they do sell the open mats like this in multiple colors. I know Michael's does, I know Hobby Lobby does, or they did, like I said. They don't have the bags and they don't have the boards. So if you can't get the board, what I used to do is just take a plain, like I get a big pack of whatever the cheapest acid-free paper I could get that was also kind of thick, so like vellum is perfect. Cut that to the side and stick that on. It's better than having the back open. I like the board better because I think it protects the art. I mean, look, I'm not gonna hurt the art right now. This is just super, like, it does protect it. But vellum or anything else to clean up the back would also work. You just have to cut it down to size, but there we go. That is the finished artwork and it looks so nice and clean. And then now we are going to do musical animals. We're going to switch them around so we can open the smart art, or no, it's not a smart art box this time, Squawk box. Look at the boys, their heads have spilled out of the bed. Okay, boys, we are going to move you. I will be right back and I will be back with a very tiny little chicken. Come on, boys. Out you go. Whoops. We'll get Dad to let you go outside and potty. Go on. Oh, maybe. I don't know where he went. I may have to text him. Go lay down. Nope, lay down. Down. Everyone goes and lays down. Down. Wade. Gibson, down. Wade, down. That is not where your bed is. Wade, where are you going? Go lay down. Wade, come here. Lay down. Gibson. Wade, down. Good boys. I need that, well, I need them to lay down before I walk out with French. Come here. There. Okay, baby bird. Okay, so those of you who are new here, we have French Fry, who is a tiny little parrotlet. Yes, he is full size. You're gonna fly off, aren't you? We're probably gonna have a couple practice tries of him flying off, me catching him, or you're gonna poop. Did you poop? I don't know. That's why I've got tile floor. I can wash it. That gets mopped tomorrow. So there is French Fry, and he has this fun little box that I ordered him. These are $30 a month. This is the Squawk box, and it comes with tons of toys. Actually, all the birds can share this. So we're going to open that. I have an affiliate link in the video description because if I was going to buy it, why not tell you guys about it? So we're going to see what we've got here. You want to sit up here? Do I have something to open this with? I don't even think I cut the tape. Oh, I did cut the tape. Okay, so this is the little box. And I've been saving these. So our other parrotlet, my husband's parrotlet, Nugget, loves the box. The crinkle paper, that's his favorite part of, like, by a long shot. Every night, that is what he plays with. So let's see what came in this one. This theme is Jurassic Squawk, embrace your inner dino. Oh, that kind of fits you. So they come through, they give you a little pamphlet that tells you about each of the toys and whatever treats came in it. One of the things I like about these boxes, this is Nugget's favorite part. He loves playing with this. French Fry plays with it too, but that is like definitely Nugget's favorite. So they always have what they call Talon treats. You're just gonna disappear into my hair, aren't you? There you go. These ones are Brontosaurus broccoli, ingredient freeze-dried broccoli. Oh, I think they're gonna like that. So a little bag of treats. I like that the treats in these have always been very healthy. Last time it was like lavender to make tea with. I don't know if I'll do that, but the other one was like pine nuts, and then this one is the freeze-dried broccoli. That is definitely, like, they're not junk treats so far. I've only gotten 3 boxes so far, but so far they're not junk treats full of seeds or sugar that I wouldn't give my birds. So we have, what is this supposed to be? I don't know, but I think they're going to have, Tuna's gonna love that, pulling at these little strings. Tuna's my canary, but fun little chewing toy. What I usually do is give them to the little guys, and then when they're not interested or when they're done playing with them, we give it to the bigger, the Indian ring necks, and let them play with it. Does it tell me what this is supposed to be? It usually tells you what that toy is. This is a dino egg nest. Okay, sure. So that's that one. What else do we have in here? Oh, okay, this is adorable. Ooh, they're gonna like that. So we have a little dino toy. This stuff is like this bolt, like that, whatever they make like paper airplanes out of, balsa wood, or I don't know. It is super chewable. They are going to love shredding that. So actually, I think Chicken's gonna like that. We have another, oh, more of that. This one has cork. Okay, I think this will be a Loki. Oh, I like this toy. So it's a cute little dinosaur, and it just bolts to the back of the cage. So we've got the wood to chew on, and little corks are stuck in there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a Loki toy. He's our white, kind of white, Indian ring neck, the newer member of the family. And we've got, this one is a Naturals. I love the Naturals toys. These ones, all of these are actually really fairly natural. But it's little popsicle sticks. We've got burlap wrapped around it. I will remove the bell because I don't like bells for birds. It is way too easy to mess up their tongues. And there we go. That is a super cute toy. I think that's everything in this box. This is a pretty good one. So far, so that's 3 in a row. I was hesitant because you have to order, like, it costs more if you just want one. It costs more than if you get like 6 months, you prepay for 6 months, which is what I did. But I was like, oh, but am I gonna like it? I have loved everything I've gotten so far. Like, they're toys that I don't find in the pet store. I mean, I probably could find them online, and actually some of them I did look up online. I was curious if, like, what the value was. And the price of a lot of these, when you add up getting all of these, it was actually about the same or less than if I bought them individually when I did find them online. So far it has definitely been worth it for me. This is the small bird one. They have different size boxes you can get depending on the size of your bird. That one is the smallest one. They said like the ring necks and bigger conures would be the next size up. I would still, at least for mine, they like these. They haven't totally destroyed any of them. So they seem to be a better option, at least for us. But I've got parrotlets. The canary likes to pick at stuff. He doesn't really count for toys though. But the parrotlets, a cockatiel, and 2 ring necks. And the smallest box, which is the cheapest one, so that's a bonus, seems to be the best fit for like the size of toys for them. So there we go. That is the Squawk box. I keep saying Smart Art box, but just out of habit. But yeah, that is that. Okay. Oh, my Amazon is finally here. Now they bring my dog treats. Not that the boys minded sweet potatoes because they love those. Where is Discord? Okay, so on to art questions. And we're just going to leave the baby bird. There he is. He's just going to bury himself in my hair there. Let's see. First, Therapy Art for You said, have you ever used pans for the entire project, not using any pencils? No, because I don't think they're really suited for that. They're what gives you that base soft look, but you're not going to get details with them. So if you're doing something kind of abstracty, I guess, but if you want details, you're going to need to use some kind of other pencil, whether it be colored pencil, charcoal pencil, ink. I mean, I don't know how that would work with that, but you've got to use something else to get the detail. The pan pastels, like you can do some things using stencils and stuff to sort of get some straight edges and stuff, but you're not going to get the type of detail I enjoy with those. It's just not possible. When SGWW said, okay, we covered that. Oh, and just this question just reminds me again that I've got to figure out where that artwork went to. Let's see. BT92 said, if your primary is the furthest and the I can never say that, tertiary is the closest, does that make the foreground out of focus? No. The foreground is out of focus. What? If you're talking about colors, which I'm guessing, the foreground is out of focus because it's out of focus. It's not detailed. The way that you make something out of focus is by softening the edges. So you can actually have a lot of detail, but the edges are soft. Where you've got harsh, crisp lines, crisp edges, that's what's going to be in focus. So it's not really about the color. I mean, yeah, you're going to add depth with usually, there are always exceptions, but usually we'll use the cooler colors in the background, like in a landscape, and as we move forward, we warm things up, and that's one way that we add depth, but it's not like a primary, secondary color, this is how you make things out of focus. That has nothing to do with why it's in focus or not. It's how soft the edges are, how crisp those details are. That is what determines if it's out of focus or not. Patty said, you usually use the smooth side of MeTens. Is there a time when you will use the rough side? So when I first started, I was using the rough side, but it was, I mean, it was rough. The end project is more rough, which can look awesome too. You can use either side. Both are fine. But for a smoother blending, then the smooth side is what I use now. But I always used to use the rough side because I thought the pan pastels stuck better. It doesn't make a difference. Turns out, does not matter if they stick either way. You're going to fall off, baby bird. I know. You're like not buried. He's sliding on my, because I don't have a jacket. I usually wear a sweatshirt or something that he sits in. So he keeps sliding. Let's see. One SGWW said, have you tried the Faber-Castell matte pencils yet? I have not. I need to. Patty said, to give this a more fantasy look, would the pearlescent pan pastels for the highlights work? That would look really cool. That would look very nice. Baby Panda said, would you ever consider a second Patreon class on dog training obedience? Tried everything, our dogs train us. No, I don't have time, but where are you going? You're scooching up. I don't have time to do another one, but here's the big thing with training. There are a million different methods. Most of them work if you're consistent. And that doesn't matter what animal it is. If you're not consistent, the training won't matter. You could go to the best dog trainer in the world, and if you go home and you're not following and it feels too firm. I get it. So my dogs, I have greyhounds. Greyhounds are very independent, very what is the Rage Against the Machine song? F you, I won't do what you tell me. That is a greyhound. And they're super, super sweet, but they don't actually care if they're making you happy. Like that is just the greyhound. Like a lab, a golden retriever, they care if you're happy. An Australian shepherd cares if you're happy. A greyhound cares if a greyhound is happy. The end. Wade is a little bit more sensitive, like if I don't feel well or whatever, but they're not like a normal dog. You're sliding, baby bird. He's still back in here. I should put a sweater on for you, huh? Even though I'm not hot or cold, but anyway, they're not. So anyway, why am I leading up to this? With a greyhound, if I'm not consistently firm and strict, if I tell you to do something and you don't do it, normally I don't care. I'm like, whatever. I'm used to birds. Birds kind of do what they want. I don't really care. However, what that tells the greyhound is you're the boss. You ask to play. You ask to go outside. And you get to make the decisions in life. You are the boss. And the problem is I wouldn't really care, except it turns into them never doing what I ask them to. And then when I finally get sick of it, because they're like, I call them and they won't come when I call them, so I go to grab the collar to pull them into the house, Gibson loses his crap and starts screaming his head off, and it sounds like I'm trying to unalive my dog, and I'm gonna get turned in for it because it sounds bad. You would swear I was ripping his leg off because I touched his collar. Like, that is what greyhounds do. So not all of them, but it is very common with sighthounds. So anyway, I have to be firm. I have to be firm all the time, and I don't like it. I want to be a softie. I want to be like, oh, you asked to play? Let's play. You asked to have your butt scratched? Let me scratch your butt. Like that. Gibson likes his butt scratched. But the top, don't be gross. But anyway, yeah, that is just, that consistency is what makes training work. So a lot of people are like, I've tried everything. You half-assed tried everything. Like, you didn't full on try everything. You kind of did for 5 minutes or maybe even a week, but you didn't stick with it. And that's really the thing. You need to decide what you want your dog to do, and you need to not accept otherwise. Now, that doesn't mean like beat them if they don't do what you want, but go get them, and you called them, you go get them and make them come to you. If you don't do that every single time, if they know that sometimes sometimes you enforce the rules, that's why your dog's not trained. It has to be and it's exhausting sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a breed like I have with the greyhounds that are very stubborn. It can be exhausting to know I can't let up. My Italian greyhounds, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, they were still very stubborn, but they were also, 10 pounds. So if they didn't do what I want, I'm just going to go pick them up. Yeah, sometimes they'd lose their crap and start screaming because they didn't want to do where I wanted to put them. But sighthounds. Why do I keep getting sighthounds? But they're smaller, so it isn't a big deal. With the big guys, I mean, Gibson has snapped, like biting at the air towards me when he was mad about me trying to move him. Like, no, you're coming in the house right now, and he didn't want to. So, consistency is just that is training. That's training for any animal or person, but that is a very big deal. So while, no, I'm not going to do lessons on that. There are lots of YouTubers out there. There are also a lot of YouTubers. Be careful and read the comments of what people say, because there's some that I see reels that'll come up. This one woman who does not know what she's doing, and she talks about, I'm training the dog in a behavior modification, and what she's doing, us watching don't even know what she's trying to get the dog to do. Guarantee you that dog does not know what the heck she's trying to make it do. So there are people who should not be making videos, but pick a trainer, pick a local trainer, whatever, and stick to it and be firm, be consistent. Why are you sneezing, baby bird? Bless you. So anyway, that is the dog thing. Let's see. Jen said, how did you name French Fry? So one of my favorite books, the Magiford series, which I need to get my Amazon affiliate link for Audible, because that's, one of the things I want to start doing is book reviews, because I'm always reading books. I'll let you guys know, what I'm listening to at the easel. So I thought that would be a fun thing. But the Magiford series, all of them except the werewolf one. The werewolf one, don't waste your money. But one of the last one, well, kind of, in the thing, which ones were they? I forget the name of it, but it was the one with the cat on the cover. She has, they call it a trash griffin or a trash panda. It's the front half of it is a pigeon, and the back half is a raccoon. And he's clumsy, and he is always eating French fries, and he's hilarious. And he was like one of my favorite parts about the book. It was just this cute little comic relief, and he's adorable, and I loved him. And his name was French Fry. And so when I read those books, and I loved those books. So they're your more lighthearted, like fantasy stuff. Like no swearing, no adult activities, like very, very tame, but fun and cute, and one of my favorites. But anyway, this one, The King's Captive, I think. Was that what that one was called? Something like that. But that trash griffin was named French Fry, and he was so cute. And so when I read it, I was like, my next bird will be, like, if I get another bird, I'm naming it French Fry. So the name was picked out long before I decided I was getting French Fry. And it was a food theme, so it stuck with the other birds. Let's see. Art of Raven D said, I wish I can get our bird to eat greens. Anytime I give her any even pieces, she won't touch it. She won't touch anything green. She only wants fruit. Don't you have like a house finch though? What kind of bird is yours? My canary though eats all the veggies. All the veggies. Broccoli is the easiest thing to tempt a bird. Like, get the little clips. I don't remember what your bird is, so let me know. Beth said, I finally got brave and started my own YouTube channel. Yay! I've been posting shorts every day. Is that good or bad for the algorithm? The algorithm. YouTube algorithm. Let's talk about that. It's not, it used to be the more you posted, the more views you got, the more of everything. The algorithm doesn't work that way anymore. Are people watching it? That's what's good for the algorithm. And if they're not, if that first image doesn't catch their attention, like the thumbnail or whatever, if that doesn't catch their attention, they're gone. And as soon as they click away from the video, that is what's bad for the algorithm. People watching it, it being interesting. Now, that said, what do you have to do to get good at the algorithm? You have to get good at making videos. You have to get good at understanding what your viewers like, and you do that by producing more videos. So right now, the fact that you're producing a video a day is wonderful. That is so good. Is it good for the algorithm? Not in the strictest of senses of what's good for the algorithm, but it's good in that you are learning and you've got a huge sample size of, oh, this type of video didn't work well for me. This one got a lot of views. That one didn't get a lot of views. Maybe it had a white, like it was really light in the background and this one was really dark. Like these little elements, try to figure out what it was in each video that, of the ones that worked and the ones that didn't work. So that is, people liking your content, people being interested in your content, that's what's good for the algorithm. It doesn't amount, it used to be how many you produce. The more you produce, the better it was going to be for the algorithm. Well, that plays a minor role, it's not really a big deal. It used to be. So you may have heard me say in the past, video every week, video, it doesn't matter anymore. Unfortunately, kind of. I like the way it used to be. I think most of us did. Now it's you watch what YouTube wants, what YouTube thinks you want to watch, and sometimes they're right, and lots of times they're not, because I do not see nearly as much stuff as I used to. Like the variety of things YouTube shows me it's pretty limited compared to what it used to be, and especially considering how many things are actually on the available. So yeah. Audrey said, should you ever go down on your prices when selling your art? Like if you sell on eBay and you have a price or best offer, should you just stay firm on your price? You've got to do what's comfortable for you. I don't. I set a price and that's what the price is. However, the same time, like you have, okay, let's just talk about pricing artwork. That's just a good topic anyway, and we've got time. So when you price your artwork, you've got to be aware of a few things. One, a lot of artists, when they're newer, they are very delusional. I was definitely one of those on how much their art is worth. I remember seeing artwork like, 24 by 30 inch painting of marine life, because that's mainly what I did back then, that wasn't very good, but the artist had built a name for herself, but it still wasn't very good. And so I'm seeing that thinking, oh, I'm going to get rich. I can sell mine for $10,000. No. Not how that works. You have to build a following. You have to build a name for yourself, because it is more, the price of the artwork is generally going to be more about who you are than what you produce. Now, what you produce is part of who you are, so I'm not saying they're not tied, but we've got to be realistic. And I also see a lot of newer artists who I'm glad that they're confident in what they're doing. I'm glad that they're excited, because that helps you keep painting and you eventually will get really good. But they're also a little bit like they're not very realistic about how good they currently are. And right now they're at the I painted this with my feet stage, or it looks like that. That doesn't mean they're not going to be absolutely phenomenal later on. And I'm glad that they're proud of themselves, because one of the things that often happens is people are we all start at the I painted this with my feet stage. And a lot of people get discouraged, like, wow, I must not be good at art then, give it up. No, we all start at the I painted it with my feet stage. Where are you going, baby bird? Here, you're falling. There you go. Oh, you're just going to get tangled again. He's making a nest back there. But luckily my hair doesn't tangle that easily. But anyway, you have to be realistic about where you're at. And I've seen people at the I painted this with my feet stage, and they want hundreds of dollars, and realistically they'd be lucky if they got 20 for it. So it's, you got to balance that out. Now, let's say I have consistently been selling a 11 by 14 inch acrylic painting. I'm consistently selling that size, that quality for $300. I don't want to lower that price, because it lowers the value of the art from the other buyers who paid that much. So what I recommend people do is start a bit on the lower side. I mean, look and see what other artists at your level, at your notoriety, no, that's not the word, how well known you are. Yeah, I guess notoriety does work there, doesn't it? It feels weird. But we're not here for grammar or English or words. But if you, lost my train of thought there. But if you've been selling consistently at a certain level, I don't want to devalue that to the people who have been buying it. And if you have a bigger name for yourself, then you can sell it for more. So look up what other people, whether it be Etsy, whether online, whatever, I like Etsy and eBay because you can see if the people have been consistently selling, because a lot of times people are like, I want $10,000 for this painting. And it's like, dude, you've never sold anything. So that's not a good judge of how much paintings at that skill level, at that notoriety, at that whatever, go for. Look for people who have been consistently selling their work, who have about as many followers as you, who have, their skill level is about like yours, and see what theirs are going for. And that can give you an idea of where a starting point might be. And do an average, like get a big sample size. Don't just check one or two artists. Look at a lot of artists on Etsy and eBay and see what theirs are actually going for and that they have been selling. So that, I think, is a safe way to go. There are artists who sell their art for too cheap. That is certainly a thing. But there are a lot of artists there are probably more artists who are delusional and putting it for higher than anyone is ever going to pay. So I think we need to be realistic about stuff. I mean, you got to build a name for yourself. That's going to be a big thing. Get things going on social media. Get those YouTube reels going. That is a great thing for getting people back, like building that name for yourself. I think YouTube's one of the best ways you can do that. But yeah, those are just certainly things you need to keep in mind when it comes to pricing art. It's not as simple as this is as good as this person's and they sell it for that much. You have to there's so many elements that you need to take into account. Do they already have a big following? Like, we'll use an example, these stuffed animal, like fantasy dolls or fantasy stuffed animals that are super, super cute. I have a couple from a few different creators. There's one who I loved. What was her name? I can't even think of her name. She still makes them. But she built a really big following for herself. And her dolls, her stuffed animals, are going for anywhere between $500 up to thousands of dollars for one handmade. They're individual, like handmade, super cute little fantasy dolls. Like one might be a goldfish with wings or something. I don't know. She did something with the goldfish ones. Apparently didn't stand out that much to me. I remember there was a goldfish though. But she does these super cute things, but she can demand a higher price because there's a demand for it. She's got a following and that's what they go for. Now there are other creators who have made things that are just as cute and they're selling for 90 bucks max. $50, $75. I have one that is the cutest little, like, it's kind of like got a cat head and it's a long weasel-like body. It's aqua, of course. And he has antlers and he is adorable. I think I paid like $65, $70 for that, back in the days of when the economy was better and I could afford to buy cute stuff like that. But she wasn't well known, and so her stuff didn't cost as much yet. I don't know if she's still making stuff, and that's another thing is that happens a lot with artists that they haven't been doing it long enough, and so that alone, they don't get to charge as much because people are like, you're probably going to disappear tomorrow and your work is never going to be worth anything. Buyers, not all buyers. But there are buyers who look for that. Have you been doing this a long time? Are you taking this serious? Are you going to build a name for yourself? Is this going to have value later on down the road? If it's somebody who's newer, even if the stuff is good, that's one more reason your work may not go for as much, because the buyers are like, well, you haven't proven you're planning to stay in the industry long enough to build a name to make this valuable later on. Not everyone cares about that, but a lot of people do. So these are just all like different little things that you need to take into account when coming up for prices for your artwork. Like there's so much involved there. I do have a video, an old video. The audio is probably terrible, but the information is still good. But look up Lachri and how to price your art. I think there was one where I talk about breaking it down by square inch. Like you can do a price per square inch to like kind of come up with a general idea. So we talk more about that. But yeah, hopefully that helps. There's so much to pricing your art though. Let's see. But yeah, I don't discounts. So that was the actual question. I don't like doing discounts. I only do discounts. I do a couple times now lately because, desperate, we need money. I will probably do another one around November-ish. Another sale, I'll probably do that once a year. I did one in February that didn't do as well, but maybe once a year do like the stuff that I have that like didn't sell. This one did sell, or it has bids on it already. But stuff that I have that I've gone back and made more detail, so now I'm going to sell it for more. I may go back and put some of those on sale on my website, do a big thing like that. I don't like the idea of sales. I don't like the idea of bargaining and haggling on stuff like that. But, sometimes we got to pay our bills, so I also get it. my normal answer would be no, don't do it, because I don't want to devalue the work for what somebody else had paid. But I may do a sale. Like I said, I'll probably do one, even though it's against what I think I should be doing. But, you know, sometimes you got to pay your bills. So yeah, that is a lot of these are, can you tell I argue with myself? I'm always playing devil's advocate. Like, this is why I don't like it. This is why I do like it. This is, so there you go. Yeah, when SGWW said Black Friday would be a good time. And yeah, I'll probably do it around that time. Maybe right before. Let's see. When SGWW said, I miss when you played the violin on some of your old videos. Yeah, I don't have time. Like, time is an issue. Oh, where are you going, baby bird? I feel you moving in there. Yeah, it takes time, and I'm so out of practice. I'm not saying I'll never do it again, but yeah. Snow said, would you recommend writing on the back of your artwork with your name and other info in case your signature on the front fades or smudges off? You could. There's no reason why you couldn't, especially like on something like this. That wouldn't be a terrible idea in pencil. Do graphite. It looks classier, but you could certainly do that. You could put the title, you could put your date, the date if you want to, your name, whatever information you might want to include with that. Your website would be a good thing to put on there. So if the buyer was ever like, who did I buy this from? I want to get more from that. They could go look up your website. So not a bad idea. Let's see. DJ said, I have to say night here. Thanks for the live stream, Lisa, or tonight, Lisa. It was awesome. Thank you, mods. You were great. And love to everyone. Have a great night, all. Good night, DJ. Although you're probably already gone now. Noctis Gamma said, do you think it's pointless these days to try to sell art consistently only through a personal website using SEO? I don't know. I honestly do not know. As far as I know, it's been pointless forever. Like, until I could not get sales just from my website. I got some, but not many. Until, well, I wasn't good at SEO in the early days of the internet. Until I started with YouTube. Like, that's how I got people to know who I was and go to my website. Social media, posting back when Facebook actually let people see the content that you posted. That's how I got people to my website. I never had SEO. No, that's not true. I do get stuff through that. SEO is not what it used to be, because Google is working in a very different way. Different browsers work differently, but like Google's search is very different. It is not depending on SEO anymore. It's going by, I mean, I guess still technically some stuff would be considered search engine optimization, but it's doing it very differently in how it's searching. Like, it's actually it's interesting. But yeah, that's gotten weird. It has definitely gotten weird. I don't know what the landscape is going to look like coming up because of the way that the search functions are working. Normal SEO doesn't work anymore. So yeah, I don't know on that one. Art of Raven D said, I was looking back at pro artists, if I can find them, I followed when I was younger. 90% plus of them dropped off the face of the earth. I realize most end up quitting if they don't take off in a few years. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people, and I've seen this a lot, like, oh God, I remember, I think it was back in the days of Google Plus, somebody posting, or maybe it was on Facebook, I don't know, but somebody posted that they were quitting their job. They'd saved up enough money. They were quitting their job, and they were going to give this art thing a full year. They were just nonstop art. And I'm reading that going, you're a flipping moron. Like, I'm sorry, that's stupid. That is not being financially responsible. There's a reason artists are broke, and it's not because they're art. It's because they make such crap decisions financially. But I think it's the creative side of us don't always make the most responsible decisions. But yeah, a lot of people were like, I'm going to make it in this amount of time. Somebody told me, and maybe it's different now with social media, but somebody told me back when I first started with art, I remember them telling me, or saying in general, you weren't really going to make it as an artist until you were in your 40s. Like, you were going to spend the next 20 years just grinding and working and working and working. And what was I, 39 when I finally made enough to buy a house? Like, you know, I was like, wow, that actually was pretty close. The social media did speed that up some. But yeah, it's not an overnight thing. It's not a 1 or 2 year thing. And maybe they get big, but the landscape continuously changes. And that's just business in general. The landscape constantly changes in a rate that we've never seen historically. Like, talking about going from, let's say, maybe 2010 until the last 15 years. everything in business has changed as far as like how we market, how we get customers, because of the internet changed everything, and it continuously changes. I mean, I used to make more because I was able to get people found me on YouTube. People can't find me on YouTube anymore because the way the search engine works. So somebody types in how to paint mushrooms and a ladybug in colored pencil, I'm probably not coming up. If I'm not the top 5, you're not going to find me. Unless everyone likes the video, comments on the video, watches the video. These are what YouTube wants. If that's not like in a lesson like this, that's one of the problems that I have. So I'm using myself as an example here. These long lessons don't get a ton of views because each lesson, not everybody's not going to want to follow every single lesson I do. It depends on what you're interested in. So I may have a lesson one week, you're like, I love goldfish, I'm doing the goldfish, and the next week is mushrooms, and you're like, I don't really want to draw mushrooms, so I'm not going to watch that video. So those lessons get buried under drama type stuff, things that are like, this is why I don't like Hobby Lobby. That video I did, which was crazy to me because it was just answering somebody's question, that video took off. Like the video, so lessons don't get found, which means people don't find my Patreon because that's how they used to find my Patreon. So that's why I'm now trying to do different types of editing and different videos like here on YouTube. But I'm trying to figure out what the algorithm does like, and it's a nightmare. But the point is it changed, so I have to change. And what a lot of people do, YouTube is another great example of this. A lot of YouTubers are like, oh, I don't get views anymore. I need to go, like I'd be better off working at McDonald's than what I'm making on YouTube at the moment. So yeah, that happens a lot. So with most artists, what I would recommend that want to go full-time, that want to become professionals, keep your day job. Make your life easier. That's where your income is coming from. And I get everyone has the dream. I want to be I get it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional artist. But it is much easier if you have that job until you're already making money with the art, and then you can start backing off on the day job, or cutting your hours back or quitting, but not until this is already working. And a lot of people don't do that. They're like, okay, I saved up enough money. I've got a year. I've got 2 years worth that I can go all in on art. Well, it's not probably going to happen in 2 years. You're not likely going to be making enough to keep going. And so that's why you see a lot of people who you'll see a lot of them and then they realize quickly, even if they're getting a lot of traction on social media or YouTube or whatever, if they don't know how to turn that into a business plan. So like for me, I teach, that makes sense to me. So that's why Patreon are lessons. Hold on. Let me ask Matt to let the dogs out. Because I hear them moving. Actually, let me make sure he sees that, because if Gibson's up, I do not want him peeing in the house. He's not wearing his belly band. Hold on, guys. Can you put the boys out? Thanks. Okay. So yeah, that's, stay in there, baby bird. That is why I think you see a lot of people who are super all in it for a few, and then, yeah, not so much anymore. It is very common. Let's see. And we are caught up. But yeah, and that's one of the things that is very sad to me with, well, here, Kathy said, so maybe I shouldn't retire next year and finally pursue my passion. Well, I don't know. Can you afford to retire without making money from your passion? If you can, because retirement's a little bit different. If you were going to retire anyway, then yeah, go for it for extra money, but I wouldn't depend on knowing how much, what are you making now on your art? Because that's not likely to change because you're now going full time. That is where people seem to misunderstand. They think that if they could go full time, they're going to make money. I'm full time. How many paintings are you really thinking, like, sit down? This is what I would recommend doing. If you're thinking about, like, am I ready to go full time? What are your bills? Figure out how much money you need to bring in a month. Figure out how much you're selling your artwork for. How much of that can you actually produce in a month? I mean, if it takes you, let's say it takes you 2 weeks to finish an 11 by 14 inch colored pencil, and you might sell it for $500, you can't live on that. That can't be your only form of income. And you think, okay, well, I can sell prints of it. Sure, how many prints are you gonna sell? 1 a month, 2 a month, 3 a month? I don't know. You've gotta build up to that. So you don't wanna look at it as, well, I'm gonna go full time and therefore I'm gonna be making money. No, you have to be making money first before you go full time. And I know that sounds stressful. You're gonna be working 2 jobs. What is that word that annoys the crap out of me? Your side hustle. But that's what you're gonna be doing. You're not going to make enough to live off of. No one is. That just doesn't happen. You're slipping, baby bird. You're falling off. So that is something that is absolutely going to take more time. And I don't want to discourage you, but if you can afford to retire, then retire. And yeah, if that money is extra and it's fun and great, but don't depend on it right now unless you're already making that much. Like the money first, and then get rid of the job, not get rid of the job and expect the money to come in, because it's just, that is the cart before the horse situation, like completely. Let's see. Art of Raven D said, I'm still looking for a day job. I got a gist of the feeling of full-time artist. I actually want this, but I need to get back to work. I only made one art sale last month, and that is so common. And I think right now too, we've got to be realistic about the economy. The government lies. I don't care which side of the coin you're on. The government lies. They all lie. They will be like, oh no, jobs are doing good. Oh, here's the new jobs report. It's not doing so. Our economy is in the trash right now. And I don't care what they say. What I know is I am currently paying, because of inflation, I'm paying about $1,000, $2,000 more a month between electric, food bill, dog food. Like when I add up everything, water bill, homeowner's insurance and car insurance is a big one right now. That's royally effed me. Like it is so $300 extra a month on my mortgage just because my insurance went up by that much. Like, where do you come up with that? Where are you supposed to come up with that? So, and this is happening to everyone. Insurance is a big one that is screwing everyone over bad. And because of that, people don't have the excess income. Oh, some people do. And I'm not saying there aren't buyers there and that you shouldn't find them and figure out how to find them. You should. But if you are new and you're just building up, it is not the easiest time. People don't have as much disposable income. You know, back in 2019, I could buy, I'm like, oh, I want a new GoPro for videos. I want a new tablet. I want this. I didn't even worry about it. I just bought it for my business because my business could afford it. I can't now. Now I'm like, crap, I don't have money for stamps. I mean, it has completely changed. The environment has completely changed. And I don't care what people in power are telling us. I know what my checkbook says. I don't have money. I used to have money. Now I don't have money because the cost of living has just skyrocketed recently. I mean, we can go on listing all the stuff, but the reality, you have to take that into consideration, because fine art is a luxury item. When people are broke, that is one of the last things they're thinking about buying. They're like, crap, how do I come up with my mortgage payment because my homeowner's insurance went up $300 a month. My dog food went up another $100 a month. My water bill is up $200 this last month. This bill, I mean, you just keep listing, and it's like, that is a very common thing these days, and I think that it's making it harder for the average person that might want to buy art to buy some of the more expensive stuff that is really paying the bills. So these are, you know, all things we have to keep in mind. And so the idea of going full-time just selling art, I don't think is a reality for most artists. I mean, I was watching a video on another artist who was making, God, what did he say was making? Like easy $5,000 a month just selling art. Baby bird, you are just sliding down. Oh, where are you going? Okay, fine. You can. He's just, I don't know if you can see. He is on my back. But, and he's climbing up. You're going to slip. You know what? Hold on. I will be hot for you and wear a sweater so that you are comfortable. Because why wouldn't I? Hold on, baby. We'll make this easier for you. Hold on. It is a little toasty. Oh, although this is currently cold. There, you're going to, now you can sit in comfortably. There you go. Where are you going? Yeah, now you got something to grip to. But anyway, yeah, I think we just need to be a little bit more realistic financially and try to find other ways. So what other forms of income can you make from art? I'm not saying you can't make it full-time as an artist. You've got to figure out what other forms of can you bring in art with. So, why are you, there you go. Selling prints is one way. Selling maybe merch, maybe make some cute phone cases. I'm going to make some more cute phone cases. Some other ways that I can have income. You don't want all your eggs in the selling the paintings basket, because especially right now, not as likely to happen. Can you have lower cost things? So a lot of merch, but even then you've got to build a following so people even know the merch exists. Build it and they will come. Yeah, so that's not how things work. You build the following and they will come, but that's going to take time. I thought you wanted to restart computer and now you don't want to restart? Like, update and shut down. There you go. Anyway, where my reference photo was. But yeah, it's not an easy time to try to make it just selling art because we have a luxury item. So what else can we do? We can teach. is one of the easiest things. You can teach, I don't know if Hobby Lobby still does it. I did it for a few years. You can teach out of there, or a senior center, or a like community center. Well, senior center would be an option too. But there are areas like that that you can teach. You may be able to make enough teaching classes, and that's not as expensive. Somebody may be able to afford, $20 for a 2-hour class. They bring their own art supplies. That's what I always did, or had people do. But that may be a much more reasonable, much more realistic way to make a living as an artist. It may not just be from selling art. And I shouldn't say it may not be. It probably is not going to be just from selling art. It's just not a realistic time in our history. And again, I'm not saying it's not possible. You're going to have some outliers, but the majority of people are going to need to find other ways in addition to that. So teaching is a great way to go. There may be more things you can do, kids classes and stuff may be an option. Yeah, so those are all things that you need to consider, because that it's not a fun time to have a luxury item that you're trying to make a living with, like as your sole form of income. When SGWW said, my hubby said he'll never get to retire because he has to support me. Yeah, I won't be retiring. I have no retirement. Retiring is not in my future. Let's see. Deborah said, your surreal painting with the cardinals, separate section. In your surreal painting with cardinal, separate section. Was there a question? I may have missed part of that. Deborah, I need more info. I'm not sure what that is. What if we get a sugar daddy? Yeah, there you go. They're all broke right now too. Let's see. Artie Raven D said, the job hunt has been difficult. I've been laid off since May, and it's been heck. And others being picked over me when I do interviews. It's horrible. Yeah, it is. It's rough. It is definitely rough. Yeah, that Clark Fine Art said the bills go up and the pay stays the same. We are all at a breaking point. Something has to change. Yeah, it's bad right now. I am with you on that. I wonder if I do fun paintings of our cats, I can sell stickers of them. See, and there's an option. That may be a way to go. Let's see. Artie Raven D's laughing at the idea of her teaching classes. Maybe that for kids. Maybe kids aren't for you. Deborah said the cardinals to paint by itself. There's 2 videos up right now. They both went up the same day because I was late on the previous week, so they both went up last week. But the first part is the landscape of the cardinal. The second part is the cardinal and the branches, but they're both up. You just have to scroll. I don't know if that answered your question. Is the cardinals paint by itself? Not just Gamma said, in regards to teaching, when do you know that you're knowledgeable enough? Start with kids. I started with preteens and kids. They don't care. They don't, like, if you can, all you need to know is more than your students. You teach beginners. Start with beginners. So I say start with kids, but you could start with beginners. Beginners art class. That's how you know. Because as long as let's say you're intermediate, you know more than the beginners, start there. Start teaching them, and you're going to learn. That's one of the things that I love about teaching art. You will learn so much faster than you would have if you were just doing art on your own. When you go to a class, even once a week, you go and teach a class, and you're having to solve, let's say you've got 5 students in the class, because when you start out, you're probably not going to have a lot. You have to build up your following there too. But when you start that class, you're constantly going around fixing other people's problems. They may have just created a problem that you have not run across on your own, but you've got to quickly figure out how to fix that. You're ready. As long as you be realistic about what you're showing. You show samples of your own work and teach a class. I'm going to show you how to make this painting. You already made that painting. You know how to make that painting. You're ready. But that would be, start with beginners, start with kids, preteens. Those are good ages, I think, where they're not going to be as picky. Don't start your class going beginner through advanced if you are not advanced. So that would be my advice there. Yeah, Deborah, the cardinal painting was the second one upload. Okay, yeah, that is what you're looking for. It was, I uploaded it in 2 parts because it was so long, and sometimes my computer starts giving me the finger if I try to produce a 4-hour video. So I broke it up in 2 parts, the landscape in the background, and then the cardinal and the branch and the glowing berries. Yes, and if you are not already a member, if you're like, what are you talking about, the cardinal, the what? For as little as $6 a month, you get access to every single one of my over 400 longer lessons that are anywhere from an hour, some are less if they're real time, but usually most of them are going to be 2 to 4 hours long. The majority of them are in that range. I've been uploading videos over there on Patreon since 2014. So yeah, 10 years. There are a lot of videos. So definitely check that out. Patreon.com/Lachri. Again, $6 a month. I like the being able to do a lot, like do the low cost lessons, but for lots of people that allows me to keep the prices low so that when our economy goes to trash, people can still take classes. There is a baby bird. What are you doing back there, baby bird? You're like, here, come here. Want to come say hi to everybody before we've only got a few more minutes. There you go. You can sit here. This can be good practice. We've been working on practice for him sitting on my hand. He doesn't want to sit on my hand. He wants to sit back behind my neck, but he flies away when my hands come near him. So this is our new trick. Let's see if you do it. Boop. Yeah, you even beat back. But here, we'll do it sideways. Boop. I've been getting him used to hands. Like, not that he's not afraid of hands. I can grab him. He doesn't bite or anything. But I can't like teach him tricks or anything because he just flies away when my hands come to give him a treat or anything. But he's been working on that. Just touching his beak. He's doing really well. We just have to keep practicing. What is Discord? Discord is our chat. So if you are you? Yeah, you're on our membership. For that, it's like a chat group for the members over on Patreon. It's just chatting, sharing sketchbooks, sharing our animal photos. That's mostly what I post over there. Asking for advice, like all that stuff. It's a chat group. It's fun. Art of Raven D said, I used to have a cockatiel that loved chewing hair. She also didn't like being petted with hands. She only let me pet her with my face cheek. Yeah, he'll let me give kisses and stuff. My face is fine with him. My hands are like, nope, I'm flying away. So we've been working on it. He's really doing good with it. I'm very happy with his progression. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we have what is that one? Okay. We are at 9:56. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. Congratulations to whoever wins the mushroom. I'll show you again what you're getting. The mushrooms, and I've got to go figure out what happened to the missing painting. I'm very distracted because I'm like, I have to go figure out what happened. What is on the bottom? Oh, that's weird on the camera. Never mind. I think we are good. Make sure to check out our moderators' channels. The links are in the video description. What else? What else do we have? I've got all of the supplies I used are listed in the video description. I don't know, we got lots of stuff down there. I'm working on, I'm super excited. Did I upload it? I don't know if I uploaded it. I wanted to show you guys the current project I'm working on. Did I? Oh, it is over here. Okay, it's not uploaded. Hold on, I am gonna show you. This is what I am, This is the project that's going to be coming up on Patreon next. Oh, why are you little? This is the design for the red panda and the mushrooms and a cute little moth. So that is what I'm working on. That will be, hopefully I'll have that ready for you guys next week. That is the goal, but it's got a lot of details. It's an 11 by 14, so that's going to be Pastels and colored pencil. That is one of our next lessons. What else do we have? I'm trying to think if I've got any other updates. I think that is it. I will see you guys next week. Leave a comment if you have any requests. Like the red panda was a request for a Patreon. The mushrooms weren't the request. The request was the moss, but close enough. If you have a request for something that you want to see on one of these live streams, let me know. Let me know the medium you want. Let me know the subject you want. And I'll see if that's something that I can do. And I think that's it. It's 2 minutes till. We're not going to just sit and listen. Let's not just stare at each other awkwardly. Again, congratulations to whoever wins the mushrooms, and I will see you guys next week with hopefully an update on what happened to the missing painting. That's it. Bye.